Now that we're at the end of Street Fighter V's life, I've been thinking a lot lately about the history of this game and the legacy it'll have and some of the highlights and the lowlights of the game. And I was thinking recently about which characters I would consider to be the top 5 most overpowered characters in Street Fighter V's history. So I think we're going to take a quick trip down memory lane across the various seasons and the various balance patches and have a look at which characters have truly been too strong. Alright, so coming in at number 5 is probably one that you guys would have guessed. I think he's currently the best character in the game. I would say probably my number 5 slot is Luke. Now, I think Luke is a kind of unique character in this list because Luke is extremely strong, but not because of any one thing. He's like the perfect, well-rounded character. He's got a 3-frame jab, he's got 5-frame medium, he's got great pokes, he's got easy hit confirms, he's got good damage output, good corner carry. I think Luke shines in a way that other characters don't. His matchup spread is very flat, and there's almost no matchups where he doesn't have a tool to contain the opponent. The reason that I've got him at number 5 and not higher is because of that. Luke is a situation where he beats or goes even with pretty much the entire cast, but he's not like deleting characters. He doesn't make characters completely irrelevant. He's just got like, you know, 6'4", 6'4", 5.5, 6'4". He's not a character that just overwhelms you and you just can't play the game at all. I think further down the list is going to be lots of characters with more focused reasons for being powerful. Luke is just an all-rounded monster. I've already made videos in the past talking about the reasons that Luke's powerful. I think even Brian has done a couple videos about it. How insanely well-rounded his kit is. We're going to take a quick trip back to 2016 here because we're going to be talking about... So coming in at number 4, we have Season 1 Chun-Li. This character was complained about beyond belief when this game first dropped. For those who don't know, Season 1 of Street Fighter V was not a good game. I'd imagine most people know that by now, but if you don't, this game was not good for a whole variety of reasons, not just like character balance, you know, there was no single player content, a whole bunch of issues. But one of the big issues with Street Fighter V on launch was the horrendous input lag in this game. 8 frames was the meme. People still talk about 8 frames. Some people even still think the game has 8 frames because the reputation is that bad. And some characters benefited from that and some characters suffered from that. So if you play a reactions heavy character that relies on checking your opponent, it was almost impossible in Season 1 to compete. But characters with big heavy buttons that they can just swing out with very little whiff recovery and very short hurt boxes had a huge advantage in that season. Oh, actually that's a good point right there. One thing that I'd forgotten until I saw it just now. This got patched out of the game a while ago, but early in Street Fighter V's life, anti-air lights were obnoxious as hell. And Chun-Li, as you can see right here, had arguably one of the best in the game. This stand light kick just denied jumps, and she could do it super late because it started up so fast. And because she has a fast dash, as well as getting the stand light kick, she could dash forward and basically put you in the blender. Left-right was really hard to see. Now, Chun-Li was powerful, but what really pushed her over the edge was one specific tool, which got killed in the Season 2 balance patch. Ah, there it is. There it is, right there. Perfect example. So, in Street Fighter V current season, a lot of people consider Dalsim's Instant Air Gale to be one of the strongest moves in the game. Because it goes over lows, it goes over throws, and it's plus on block. It's like the ultimate all-in-one pressure move. And this is basically that on crack. Chun-Li used to have instant air legs like this. It beat throws, it beat lows, it beat a lot of mids as well. It was plus on block, and as well as all that, you got a full combo on hit. Because Dhalsim's Gale is just a knockdown. It's still considered one of the best moves in the game, Gale. But all it does on hit is give you a knockdown. Chun-Li gets a full combo, and because it's a multi-hit move, because she comes down with several hits, you can see it's 3 hits on the way down, even characters that would rely on armor to try and deal with something like this just had no options for it. The only answer to it was just YOLO a DP or like backdash. There was very few ways, and as I say, because the input lag was so high, you couldn't really check it on reaction. This got removed immediately. First balance patch, Season 2, this was just taken straight out. It was far too good. It was an all-in-one built-in auto shimmy. And it just made Chun-Li's pressure game up close obnoxious. Because she could loop it as well. Like, for example, if you thought she was going to do it, she would do instant air legs, and then she's plus in your face, and she can just do it again. Or go for a throw. So every single time she did instant air legs, she would either throw you on block afterwards, or just do another instant air legs. Her pressure, that singular move pushed her from being one of the best characters to, in my opinion, the second best character. And if you're wondering why I said second best character on my list of the top 5 most broken characters in the history of the game, that's because I'm going to move on to number 3, who is also from this season and is the only character that I think was better than Chun-Li in Season 1. And that is, in the number 3 spot, we have Rainbow Mika in Season 1. This character was horrifying to fight against. I still have nightmares about this character. So I mentioned a bit earlier about how Street Fighter Season 1 was sort of defined by the input lag being so high. I don't think any character in the game benefited from that more than R-Mika. Because R-Mika's whole thing, historically, in Street Fighter V, has been she mauls you up close, but her neutral is a little bit lacking. She doesn't have big buttons, she doesn't have big confirms from distance, so I think Capcom designed her with the intention that she would struggle to get in, but once she's in, she destroys you. However, because in this version of the game, the input lag was so high, she had 3 different ways of getting in your face that were insanely hard to check. Number 1, forward dashing. Checking Mika's forward dash in Season 1 was horrifying. It was so difficult. There was very few people that could do it with any like reliability. Number 2, charge drop kick. Also extremely hard to react to in the lag. And crouch fierce whiff. Those were her 3 ways of getting in, and if any of those worked, you were just done for. Nowadays, things like drop kick and her crouch fierce aren't considered very good because the input lag is so much lower. But back then, these were like uncheckable. You had to just be so ready for them. Alright, reason number 2. Why Mika was broken. We've talked about the input lag, but let's talk about some of her actual tools. Let's lead off with the very first thing we saw here. This move here, this move is called Irish Whip. Now, in the current season, if you don't hit confirm this move properly, it's -8 on block. Or it might even be -10, I forget. It's super unsafe, and it doesn't wall bounce unless you're in the corner. In Season 1, this move was safe on block, auto hit confirmed, and it gave you a wall bounce wherever. Mid-screen, in the corner, whatever. If you got hit with a medium punch by Mika, didn't matter where you were on the screen, you're getting cornered. So backdash, force the wall bounce, charge heavy kick, EX Peach, Mika has now 1 neutral and you're getting mauled in the corner. Like, her ability to turn one opening anywhere into the corner and plus frames was like unmatched. And then once you're there, I mean, good luck guessing right. There you go, guessed wrong. One more guess before you get stunned, and you guess wrong, and the round is over. Mika just did not let you play once she got an opening, and like I said, it was hard to stop her from getting in because of how high the input lag was. Here's another thing. Here is another thing. So I mentioned a minute ago, this is Crouch Fierce. This rolling attack here, this is Crouch Fierce. Now, again, due to many nerfs over the years, in Street Fighter V current season, even if you hit this move on the absolute last active frame like that, even if you space it perfectly, it's -1 in the current season. In Season 1, this was +1 on the last active frame. So if Mika players had good spacing, they could just sit at the edge of crouch fierce range and press it, and if they spaced it perfectly, they got plus frames and you were basically screwed. And if they misspaced it and whiffed it, who cares, because you got 8 frames input lag to save you from any chance of whiff punishing. So it was like, crouch fierce was a god button in this season. I think all of her command grabs also did more damage in this version. I think they got slightly reduced over time. They might have lost 10 or 20 damage as well. Overall, she hits a little bit less hard now as well. There's the mid-screen wall bounce. Oh my god. Guess aside. And keep in mind, there was no V shift back then to save you from like left-right mix-ups. So you just had to guess. This meta was brutal. I don't know if they'll show it in this set. It might be hard to get footage of it. But also, one other thing about Mika, which was super broken in Season 1, but probably wasn't as abused as much as you'd expect, now that we know how the meta panned out. Her V-reversal in Season 1 was 2 frames faster, and it was plus after dash. So she could V-reversal, dash in, and be +2 with full grappler Oki. A lot of the time, against some characters, you just would never see Mika with V-trigger, because she would just V-reversal everything and then get a mix-up. Honestly, Ricky being able to keep her cool against Season 1 Mika is so unbelievably impressive. I think with hindsight, I now have more respect for how hard it is to stay calm in this situation, because Mika was just a nightmare. But that's it for the Season 1 meta. I'm going to jump forward to the year 2018 and introduce you to a character you may all know and love for the number 2 slot, a guy called Abigail. Now, Abigail in the current meta is arguably the worst character in the game. He's right down there. He's one of the worst. And that's because he's still paying his crimes from Season 3. So pretty much all of the reasons that I said that Mika was busted in Season 1, Abigail was kind of that on steroids. For some insane reason, they gave him a 3-hit light confirm in this meta. He could do crouch light kick, stand light kick, Abigail punch. He had his V trigger was 2 bars for some insane reason. So and because he had so much health, I think he was an 1100 health character in this meta. He basically got access to V trigger after losing like 20% of his health. He had his V trigger so early. His V-Trigger 1 isn't considered very good at the moment for a lot of reasons, but one of the big ones is just that charged unblockable moves have been nerfed significantly by V-Shift existing. But back then, they had no V-Shift. And look, you see, he's already got V-Trigger stocked, and it's only, you know, less than half his health gone, and he's got tons to work with. And because the unblockables didn't have V-Shift, if you got knocked down, and Abigail started charging an unblockable, if you didn't have an EXDP, you had no answer to it. It was a unescapable checkmate. So for example, right now, Ibuki doesn't have any bar for EXDP. If she got knocked down by Abigail, there's nothing you can do. You just have to take the unblockable and hope that you guess right on the next knockdown. Also, back then, well, that didn't kill. Back then, Abigail, oh my god, Abigail's EX command grab had so much more range. Thank you for proving my point just as I was saying that. It was as if Cool Kid heard what I was saying. So, one of the many things that's been nerfed about Abigail over the years is they've absolutely decimated the range on his command grab. Right now, in the current season, you have to be basically point blank to land his EX command grab. In Season 3, he used to be able to press a button like a jab and still be in range to EX scoop you like this. And considering this command grab can potentially lead to like 60% damage on hit, that is a gigantic nerf. Yeah, he could press 2 lights and still EX command grab you. Right now he can't press 1 light without micro walking. Abigail also used to have Chun-Li syndrome, where a lot of his big, threatening crush counter buttons had almost no hurtbox on recovery. So you see him punching with that big stand fierce. It looks like you're wondering, like, why isn't Xian whiff punishing? And it was insanely hard to whiff punish. And now it's time to guess for the game. Oh, he dropped it. So this is a good example of why Abigail was such a nightmare. So, Cool Kid has basically been losing this round conclusively since it started. He hasn't really got anything going. He forward jumps out of the pressure, gets a lucky jump medium kick, does a combo into V-trigger activation, and so at this point, Ibuki has 60% stun built up and about 60% health left. This is a guess for game. That one opening is now a guess for game. EX command grab here will kill if you optimize it properly, and Meaty will kill if you optimize it properly. The way that Abigail was so obnoxious was the way that he could just turn one tiny little opening into just like a, well, guess for game. Time to guess. Yep. And he's dead. He's dead. That was 2 guesses there, because he dropped the corner combo. Yeah, it's over. It's done. Welcome to the next round. Thank God we don't have that anymore. It's easy to forget how much bullshit used to be in this game. Ibuki was one of the best characters in the game in this season as well. Oh no. Oh my God. Oh, I dropped it. Yeah, he dropped it again. But again, this is legitimately like this situation right here. Sweep activation, and he saw the V reversal start up. This would have been the round. If he had finished this combo properly, I think, if I'm not mistaken, if he had done charge back fierce twice into Abigail punch into super, that might have killed. That might legitimately have killed if he'd finished that combo. This character was a monster. His damage output was insane. His stun output, it was insane. Certainly if you're Akuma, you're dead there. I don't know about Ibuki. He did sweep right there? Bro, I would have spiked my controller into the floor. He just did sweep? Bro, Xian does not look happy. I would not have been happy either. He didn't have V-trigger. He didn't have anything. YOLO sweep to win the match. You realise if Xian had blocked that, he would have been on match point. One more round to go into Evo top 8 winners. This is semi-finals, right? Yeah, this match was one match away from Evo top 8 winners. And this is how it went down. Oh my God. Xian is a more composed man than I. That's all I'll say. Whoa. Yep, and that's it. That's an even better example, actually. The second one is a better example. So he goes for the charge fierce. Luckily, hits him out of the overhead. And then here's where you suddenly remember what life was like before V-Shift existed. There is no way. The match is over at this point. There is nothing you can do in this situation to not lose the round. There is no mechanic to protect you. You are done. So it's just over. It didn't even matter that the juggle failed here. This juggle dropping didn't matter. It was already over. It's just checkmate. Thank God for V-Shift, because stuff like that was so annoying to deal with. Alright, so that was my number 2 on my 5 most broken Street Fighter V characters ever. Season 3 Abigail. And I'm going to take a kind of a weird direction for number 1. Because number 1 is a controversial choice. This character was utterly broken to the point that any time this character got super, the round was unwinnable for the opponent. And it was this way for a whole year. It wasn't like this was a brief period. There was a year where one character instantly and automatically won the round once they got super built up. And that character is Blanca in Season 3. Let me introduce you to the Blanca glitch. This is a glitch that existed from the moment that Blanca was added to the game all the way until early 2019. It was in the game for about a year, but it was completely unknown until about February of 2019, And then once it was discovered, it was almost immediately banned from tournament usage, and it was patched out of the game shortly after. So whether or not you can call this a true case of the most broken character in Street Fighter history is debatable, because this was never actually used in any competitive play. It was just insta-banned. As soon as it was discovered, they just got rid of it straight away. But basically what happened is this. Blanka could stop time, and let me explain why this happens. This is a glitch. Basically what happens is, in Street Fighter V, every move has a priority internally. So if you do the motion for 2 different special moves at the same time, one special will have a higher priority than another if the inputs overlap, okay? And at the top of that priority chain, the absolute highest priority thing is super. In theory, if the game is set up right, if you input a super, only super can come out. Nothing else can come out. But due to an error in the way Blanka's priority system was set up, his command hop forward, which is forward and 3 kicks, had higher priority than his super, which meant that you could cancel the startup of his super animation, which froze the screen, into his command hop, like this. So you see the screen goes dark, which is the animation playing out for his super starting up, but he immediately cancels out of that into a command dash. And during this state, the opponent is completely frozen. They cannot do anything. Blanka has about 3 seconds where he can do whatever he wants, and your opponent is just stuck, frozen in time. Yes, this is a JoJo reference. The reason this was completely broken, as opposed to just pretty broken, is because Blanka has a command grab. It's not a very good command grab, but here's the thing. If you freeze time with Blanka, and then do the command grab during the frozen time, your opponent cannot do anything. They are just command grabbed. If they try to jump before you stop time, and you freeze time while they're in the air, you just jump up and air-to-air them and then freeze time again. Because, and here's the craziest thing, even though you're freezing the game using the startup of super, for some reason doing this glitch did not consume any of Blanka's super gauge. So, he would freeze time with his super gauge, not drain it, hit you with either an unescapable command grab or an air-to-air while you're stuck in the frozen time. Time would resume, and he would just do it again. And you would just be looped to death. There is nothing you could do about this. If you're on the ground, you'll get unescapable command grabbed. If you're in the air, you'll get unescapable air-to-aired. And he could just do time stop over and over and over again. So, for about 13 months, Blanka was completely broken. If we had known about this, who knows how the timeline would have changed. It would have been banned regardless from tournament play because it's so broken. But yeah, in this meta, Blanka was able to utterly dominate the game. The second that he had 3 bars of meter, the match was over. There would have been no way back from it. You know, you could have won Evo with 5 minutes of Blanka practice if you'd known about the glitch and kept it secret until Pool's day. They probably would have banned it midway through the bracket because it's so stupid. But yeah, the whole match is over because obviously your super meter carries over into the next round. So yeah, once you hit super, the entire match was over. You could just loop the unblockable over and over again. So yeah, Blanka is the most broken character in Street Fighter V history, although there is absolutely no competitive usage of this because the glitch was discovered so late and it was barely utilized before it got banned. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. And I will catch you guys in the next one.